Hi, I'm Lauren from Kitchen Things, and I'm going to explain how to make the most of your new Smeg 6301 oven. This might be black, it might be stainless steel, it might be pyrolytic or not pyrolytic, but the way that the oven works is the same regardless. So this oven has two knobs. The left knob is the function knob, and when we turn the knob around, you can see the function changing in the display. The right knob is our temperature and our timer knob, and it operates by turning and pressing. Let's first run through the cooking functions. So the first function that you come to is top and bottom heat, or what we would call bake. This is where both the bottom and the top element are operating, but the fan is not operating inside the oven. When you turn this oven on, you will hear a fan. That is not the fan inside the oven, but it is the cooling fan that runs around the outside of the oven and pushes cold air up through the glass in order to keep the glass cool and around the outsides of the oven cool. Because there's no fan operating inside the oven, the top of the oven will be slightly cooler than the bottom of the oven when you choose this function. It's good for any cooking on a single layer. If you have two trays in the oven using this function, your top tray is going to be browner on the top, your bottom tray is going to be browner on the bottom, so you're going to have to turn your trays over halfway through the cook. The next function you come to, the second one, is exactly the same top and bottom element, but now we're adding a fan. So that is circulating the air that's provided by those two elements inside the oven. It's evening up the top and the bottom. It's what we would call fan bake. This is great, again, for any type of cooking, but essentially single layer cooking only, because even though the fan is evening up the temperature, you've still got direct browning from the top and the bottom, so you will need to swap your trays over halfway through the cook. The next function you can see has got the little fan. We've removed the top and the bottom elements, and we've added an element around the fan. This is known as fan forced cooking, or circular or hot air cooking. This is great for baking because you can cook on multiple layers with this function because you've got no direct heat from the top or bottom. The air is drawn into the back of the oven. It is heated by an element that's behind the rear of the oven, and then it is recirculating that hot air through the oven. So it doesn't matter whether your food is in the top, front, or bottom, the back, it is receiving the same heat intensity and no direct browning. It's perfect for multiple layer baking. With this function, you will notice that the default temperature is 160 degrees. We can of course change that temperature, but it's important to note when you're baking using fan forced heat that because it's more efficient than standard element cooking, it is going to cook your food quicker than normal. Now with baking, time is an essential component of the recipe. So we do not want the top of our cake to harden and cook before it's had time to do its rising. So what we do is we reduce the temperature by 20 degrees, but keep the cooking time the same. This is a reminder, because for most baking recipes the default temperature would be 180 degrees. The oven is reminding you by giving you a default start temperature of 160. Of course, you don't have to cook at 160. You can adjust the temperature as you suit. The next function is taking that fan forced heat, but adding those browning elements as well. So this means it's great for multiple layers, but it's also great for browning. And what do we cook on multiple layers that needs browning? Well, this is an ideal roast dinner function. This is called turbo or super cook, and that's what I use it for. Any roast meat or potatoes or vegetables on multiple layers, this is the function for you. Now, I did mention that you need to reduce your temperature for baking when you're using fan forced heat, and this is using fan forced heat. You do not need to reduce the temperature if you are cooking regular non-baking food. The food will cook quicker. You will need to check the food before. It might normally have been ready with your previous oven, but you can cook at the same temperature that you normally would. You're going to get great browning, great cooking, perfect roasts every time. This is the grill. It's a straightforward grill, but we do need to keep the door shut. It is temperature adjustable, so if you want to reduce the temperature and have slightly less browning, just turn the temperature down. Door shut for all cooking functions in this oven, including the grill. Here we have the grill function, but we've added a fan to it. The fan is circulating the heat that's provided by the grill and moving it down into the oven, meaning that the top of the food gets slightly less brown or gets browned slightly slower than it would with just the grill. It means it has time to cook food through, so it's great for small cuts of meat. Great for things like butterflied lamb, butterflied chicken, chopped sausages, foods like that you would normally have to turn. If you put the tray in the oven and preheat the tray with the oven, you won't even have to turn the food when you use this oven. Great cooking function. Also excellent for fruit crumbles. Bottom heat only. We'd use this when we want to finish food off on the bottom. Perhaps we've cooked a pie and the pastry is a little bit blonde and a little bit soggy on the bottom. This is going to finish that bottom pastry off without overcooking the filling. It's also excellent if you're cooking with a bain-marie. Say you're cooking cheesecake or custards. It's going to gently heat the oven without overcooking that delicate food that you're protecting in the bain-marie. Bottom and fan forced. This is adding that fan forced heat to your bottom element. Great for pizzas, for pies that need cooking on the top, in the middle and the bottom. This is also excellent for frozen foods. If you've got some frozen chicken pieces that you want to cook through, this is an excellent function for that. Eco is a function which reduces the power intake of the oven. It's not so useful for most of us. It's great if you're living in a power restricted area or you're off the grid. Basically what it does is it restricts the power intake, meaning that everything that you do takes longer. So for most of us, it's not useful. It won't save you money or power, it just spreads the usage out over a longer period. Now we come to our special functions, and in order to access this, we need to use the knob on the right. So I'm going to press to enter the special functions, and the first one we come to is defrost. This is just a circulating air function that it's safer for defrosting food, speeds it up a little bit, but it's not like a microwave or anything like that. The second special function is dough proving. This is an excellent oven for proving your dough because it retains a lot of the moisture inside the oven, giving you a perfect low temperature option for proving dough. Pop your dough into the oven, put a bowl of water in with it, and that moisture will slowly rise inside the oven, providing that perfect environment for proving dough. Sabbath mode. Sabbath mode is designed for Orthodox Jews who aren't allowed to use technology on their Sabbath. It turns the oven into a low-tech slow cooker. Not useful for most of us, but for those people who need it, it's a great option. And this is your pyrolytic cleaning function. I'll go into pyrolytically cleaning your oven later. Lastly, we come to our dedicated pizza cooking function. You can use the bottom and fan force that I mentioned before, or you can use this dedicated pizza function, which defaults to 280 degrees, making it the perfect oven for cooking pizza. The last option is the settings. These are the secondary settings that you can go in and make changes for your oven. In order to do that, you turn the dial all the way around to settings, or you can flick it one step to the left and then press the center of the button to enter the settings. The first one is the clock. This is where we're going to go and change our clock for daylight saving or when you've had a power cut. Now we're going to talk about adding a timer to your cooking functions. So the first thing you need to do is choose your cooking function and your temperature. You change the temperature just by turning the knob to the left or right. This oven comes with a duration timer and a delayed start timer. First, choose your function and your temperature. Then press the right knob in once. When the clock icon is flashing, turn the dial immediately to choose the duration of your cook. Press the knob again and it will bring up the earliest possible time that the oven could finish cooking. If you want to delay the cook, turn the knob until it comes to the time that you wish the food to be ready. Then the oven will automatically go into standby and cook for the duration that you have selected, but be ready at the time that you have selected. There's also a minute minder timer. This won't control the oven, it just sends you a reminder beep at the time that you have selected. In order to get to that, press the button in until the bell icon appears and then immediately dial in the time that you want that reminder set for. This won't control the oven, it won't turn it off, it'll just beep for your reminder. If your oven comes with a pyrolytic cleaning function, then this is the best possible way of cleaning your oven. The way that it works is that it heats the oven up to nearly 500 degrees inside. It basically carbonizes all the dirt on the enamel and turns it to dust. What you do need to do before you start your pyrolytic clean is remove the entire contents of the oven. That means pulling out the racks, the trays, and pulling out the side racks from the oven. So you've got a completely empty oven interior. The other thing that you need to do before you run the pyrolytic cleaning function is clean the surface of the glass. We're just talking about the interior surface of the glass, just some spray and wipe or detergent and water to remove any excess oils from the glass that may make it harder to clean when you run the pyrolytic function. So clean glass, empty interior, shut the door, choose your pyro function, choose the level of cleaning that you desire by pressing and turning. You've got level 1, level 2 or level 3 is essentially just a time that the oven is going to be operating. That really depends on how dirty your oven is. Once you've chosen that, you can press start and the oven will lock. The interior will stay locked for the duration of that time, and then it will remain locked after that time until the oven has cooled down to a safe temperature, when you can open the oven door and brush out any remaining dust. It really is the best possible way of cleaning your oven. For recipes and further tips for using your oven, go to the Kitchen Things website, www.kitchenthings.co.nz/blog.